Will you look back when you're old and grey and think those dumb kids had a lot to say when we were trying to make this night one you'd remember? I don't care if my wheels don't turn, I don't care if my pipe don't burn, as long as I am flowing through your veins after I'm gone away.
It's Thursday night, and you know what that means? My phone just turned up by itself.
It's fine. No one's watching yet.
It's like possessed.
So this week, hopefully, we get a lot of comments as well. We're going to talk about something that Scare Seekers main podcast has talked about before in the past. We're going to talk about children's film and TV that scared us when we were younger. And Park Pulse can tell me something that I don't know about because he's in the States. But without further ado, we've got James.
Hello.
Scare Seekers. How you doing, James?
Back again. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah. Back again.
So I'm going to let the comments flow as they want to flow, but I don't know a good start. I don't know a good place to start. I've got a lot of shows to talk about. I don't know if you want to pick somewhere to start, and we'll go from there.
Anybody in the comments as well? Like what we're doing about.
You've got nice hats as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Where do you want to start, James? You're the extraordinaire when it comes to scare stuff.
I guess we could start with the main one that I talked about in the podcast episode, which still traumatizes me to this day, which is Gabriel the Toad from Bagpuss. Absolutely terrifying character. There we go. Now we actually have a visual aid for.
Oh, sorry.
There we go. Yeah, it's so the show was a 70s stop motion animation with a lot of weird kind of toy characters that they were meant to be like things that have been brought in by this little girl, and they try and find who the owners are for it, basically. And Gabriel the Toad was a weird banjo playing toad that looks incredibly creepy.
Do you remember the first time you saw him?
Well, I remember watching some old home movies back, and one of them was, I think it was like a 1-year-old, and you could hear Bagpuss in the background. You could hear like the opening theme tune, and me just crying in the background. So
that character put you off watching it altogether.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was also just the vibes of the show in general, but yeah, specifically because we had the VHS of it, I kept rewatching the first episode over and over again with him in it, and because he has the banjo, he plays like a song each episode, and the song from episode 1, I remember him singing, and one of the problems was because the rest of the show was stop motion, but because his movements were so complex, they had him as like a live action puppet. And so in his scenes, the lighting was completely different. So in all the other scenes, it was really bright, but with his, it was really dark for some reason. Like on this picture, you can see it's like really cast in shadow and stuff. And also just like those little beady eyes, and the movement's completely different on it. So yeah, it was traumatizing, definitely.
Oh my gosh, someone's just put in the comments, travel with the Jones High. It says Bagpuss was a trippy purple cat.
Teletubbies. Yeah. I wasn't sure if the Teletubbies were that big in the States.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
They're a big thing here, but I didn't think of them as being scary. We have much scarier stuff in the UK, I think.
Like Bagpuss and Gabriel the Toad.
So that triggered you, so like if you hear the noise, you'd know straight away you didn't want anything to do with that, like the theme tune, like you were saying.
I think it was that one song that he played in that episode 1. Yeah, I think it was... the first episode was about a ship in a bottle, and so they sang a song to do with mice on a ship with a duck captain thing. And so, yeah, that song, if I ever heard that like version of it, yeah, that would kind of trigger. And I genuinely had nightmares every night about Gabriel the Toad.
Did you have not nightmares, but when you came into contact as a kid or heard banjo music, did it also resonate or not so much?
Possibly, it might have, but yeah, it was specifically whenever that one episode came on. And the thing is, for like most of my childhood, I didn't realize there was like another 12 episodes, because say with the VHS we just rewound back to the first one, so then it was like a whole set of other horrors that I then had to endure through. But yeah, it was yeah, I think it was just, I think specifically with him also, it's like the eyes, it's like those black beady eyes with like the pupils dilated on it. Just makes it look much more creepy, I think.
Drugged out. Right, Ben's not going to be here for long. He's in the chat. Just Ben, tell me something as a kid that scared you in TV or film. and I'll mention it
Hmm.
because you're not going to be around for long. I'm not going to put banjo music on. Don't worry. We can flick back to Bag. I'm going to go for what scared you as a kid? Did anything scare you?
There was two things that scared me, but mine was mostly films, and it was the same film, and it was 2 parts in it. In fact, no, there was another film actually. Mine was more films than it was TV programs.
What film was it?
So for the film, it would be there was a kids program as well. It's Pub, which was quite an old sort of
With the bald kid on it. Oh,
it's a kid that's got like a really big. I can't explain it, but he kind of like looks like his face is inflated. And then when he did something really silly, he'd like come out with like loads of stuff out of his mouth, and it just freaked me out as a kid because it didn't look right. His eyes were massive, his ears were stuck out, and it was a puppet. Like, but it just really freaked me out as a kid because I was like, its face wasn't in proportion of what was I expecting.
What were the films?
The films would be Return to Wizard of Oz.
Oh, Return to Oz.
One, yeah, and the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, you're going to say so.
There's a scene in that where I think it's the Emperor, he kind of like crumbles at the beginning. So obviously then they had to take over the throne. It's that scene where he crumbles that freaked me out. I don't know what it is, but just something about it just really hit home, and I was like, like watching it like 4 years old, but you know.
I think Candyman, just replying to Gareth there, I think Candyman would scare you as a kid, but it's not a kid's film.
No. It's okay. Welcome everyone in the chat as well. We're just talking about what made you quite scared, like in terms of kids.
I will go through these photos. I've got some photos of some that the internet recommended and some that I remember.
I'm already feeling
I wanted to ask James, talking about what you said, and then James talking about Bagpuss. And I thought these kind of like British shows that were kind of on a smaller budget that look creepy. Do you think that the adults behind it knew that it was creepy, or do you think they thought this is relevant for kids? Just strip it out. Let's just get it on TV.
I kind of find it funny if they actually they pretended that it wasn't creepy, but they actually knew they were traumatizing like a whole nation. That would be funny. I mean, I think at the time, especially with Bagpuss, I don't think many people would have, because they would have been so used to like that quality of TV at that time. I think it would have been less creepy. While like now, like 50 years later, it's more creepy because of how old the footage is, how basic the stop motion is in a way. So I think probably it would be more creepy to us, but I think it could have. I think with Gabriel, definitely some people might have been traumatized by it.
Do you still have the videotape?
Not the video, no, but I do have the DVD. Which actually, I've got the DVD, and I remember when Ellie was around here once. I actually showed her a couple of episodes as well, and she was just as traumatized. So that was good.
Did Ellie know? Did she know what was coming up, or did you not mention the toes? Or did you mention that the toad was scary?
I think I might have showed her some pictures, but she'd never seen any full episodes. So I think I showed her the first one, the last one, and one of the ones in the middle as well. There he is again, lovely. But also one of the creepy things as well was that whenever they had any other characters like stop motion in the foreground, because Gabriel was mainly the live action puppet, they wouldn't move him, and so sometimes there'll be some bits where there's other characters talking and he's just staring right at the camera in the background, which is it's so creepy when you watch it back, or like he just does like a slight movement and then doesn't move anymore. And that's it's just terrifying.
I don't know if
you're really that wary of him on the screen.
Discover Explorers or Park Post on chat. Tell me, did you have Bagpuss in the States? I wouldn't have thought so, but I'm intrigued now. Bagpuss was very similar to the cat from Alice in Wonderland, wasn't it?
Kiki the Frog. My auntie used to say freaks her out. Kiki the Frog.
Labyrinth as well. Labyrinth did freak me out, but it was just because I didn't know David Bowie was a pop star when I first watched it as a kid, but just the fact that he just wanted to steal this baby freaked me out. It wasn't really the goblins, really. I was just freaked out by this guy wants to steal a baby. It's not a good situation.
The Labyrinth was quite good. I quite enjoyed it, but then again, I thought of like the same with Dark. I think I watched Dark. I don't know if Dark Crystal came out before Labyrinth, but I found that
I watched Labyrinth first.
Quite light-hearted. I watched Dark Crystal first, then Labyrinth. So, but yeah.
Count Duckula credits. There's another one that James brought up that I've seen brought up by other people as well.
I love Count Duckula. He's one of my childhood favourites.
Oh, so you've
Yeah.
got did this? I know you brought it up, James, because you knew that a lot of people were traumatized by the credit scenes as a kid. But
Mm.
were you affected at all?
Yeah. So I think it was a bit of a weird story. So my brother is really into animation, so he actually went to uni to do animation and things. And so we had like a compilation of a load of I think it was Cosgrove Hall animations on a DVD,
Yeah.
and they had a couple of episodes of Count Duckula. But I think the creepy thing for me, it's these kind of like still shots that flash up on screen, but also the fact that the theme tune they do in a different key, and for some reason that made me feel really uneasy. Like it's in like a different kind of pitch to how it is on the opening credits, but also with these kind of like really scary visuals flashing up again in like very basic stop motion animation. Yeah, just made it really freaky for me.
See,
I thought it was quite cool as a kid. Maybe I'm a
Mm.
bit twisted. I don't know on that one, but I thought they were quite cool, and I was like, "Oh wow, look
I
how
wasn't
cool
really a
that
fan of the
moves."
show, but it's a good show, I guess. But I just
I love Count Duckula.
It was all right. I think you had to be a bit.
I still have my original cuddly toy, so you know.
Yeah, but we can't show that because it might fall apart.
It's quite old. It's quite old, but I love it.
Oh yeah, the server was it the server called Mummy that made.
Yeah,
Might have been.
it's Nanny.
Oh yeah.
It's Nanny, because that's what that mine used to say with the voice box in it.
But for anyone who's
Little
not
cuddly
seen
toy.
this, you can search on YouTube afterwards. But the credit scene, they were kind of like almost. They were kind of like stop motioned around these horror. There was like a Dracula and things as well, but were they not like flat, almost like made of paper, but not on the background, weren't they?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, so it would have been a stop motion style, but with like 2D things, which is just kind of moved a couple of frames.
I was hoping someone knew about Erie, Indiana. I've
Indiana.
only kind of seen a bit of it. It was a bit like. I don't know if I'm right in saying this. It was a bit like a kid's version of Twin Peaks. It was really good. I'll have to show you it. I don't think you've watched it.
I'll probably have to watch that.
Mm.
Yeah, that one did. I must
This one
admit,
where it removes its head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that did get me at first, but then I watched the Oz, the Return to Oz.
Return to Oz,
Sorry,
yeah.
I keep
On
saying
Disney
Return
Plus,
to
by the
Oz.
way.
I watched Return to Oz, and it was more the witch, the lady that had all the heads in that one room.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
and she swapped her heads.
I wasn't very old, but I just remember having nightmares of everyone walking around with no heads for ages. And I woke up, shut up screaming. And it's just, it always freaked me out.
I'm happy someone's mentioned Around the Twist as well, because I thought
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that's not horror, that's not scary, but it came up on a lot of lists.
I'm used to watching Round
Oh
the
yeah, I
Twist.
didn't find it
watching
traumatizing as a kid, but it came up on a lot of lists.
Yeah.
But Labyrinth, I was more traumatized by David Bowie. I just thought, rest in peace.
Don't
David
blame
Bowie,
you.
but it was just the way he kind of talked. He played the character well, but the only thing I remember about that film mainly is him and the door where you work out how to find out which door's the real one.
I always thought it was really cool because I thought his hair was cool. I think the opposite. But then obviously the story,
steal a baby.
Obviously the story is creepy. I get it, but I thought the whole aesthetic of things was really cool, and I really enjoyed the music. But obviously the story wasn't that great, not that very nice.
The story was alright.
I do think it was really cool as a kid, like all the songs and everything.
What do you think about Labyrinth, James?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely less creepy than the Dark Crystal, but I think with these characters specifically that's on screen, I think it's the Fireys. I think I looked up what the name was. It was either the Fireys or the Fire Gang, but I think just the design generally of them is also already creepy. But then at the end of that scene, they like chase the main character Sarah out trying to rip off her head, and it's like, yeah, that definitely traumatized me as a kid. Like, I think it's especially like kind of you saw as she was running off, you kind of saw them in the background slowly, kind of like running after her. And
I think there was a threat as well on one of them where it says, "What do you look like without a head?"
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought that was quite a bit. Oh, that's a bit. Now the older I've seen it and taken note of it, I'm like, oh, that's a bit abrupt, isn't it?
The puppetry on that scene was very good, though, I thought.
Oh yeah, very, very good. Yeah, but I think again, just like a very creepy, like 80s puppet design. Yeah.
So do you want to explain past the line? Because I didn't think he was scary, but I don't know if he's affected you, James.
Yeah, I think again it's a very similar thing with Gabriel the Toad, where it's 70s animation. They're both green, I guess. Maybe that makes it creepy. I don't know. But also it's kind of in the eyes again. There's another kind of horror that I'm into called analog horror, where it's like stuff that's like on old VHSs and stuff. And there's a few of them where I've watched where they make the character design have like larger pupils in a way, like they kind of make the pupils larger, warp the shape of the eyes. And I think that's kind of a common theme that I find a lot of these, like Gabriel the Toad, Parsley Lime, where they've got these like massive pupils, and for some reason that just makes it really creepy. That it's kind of beady eyes in a way, and again, kind of the very low quality of the animation and stuff. I think that just makes it quite creepy as well to a very young version of me.
Travel with the Joneses. It is made by the same creators of Magic Roundabout.
Right, yeah.
It was the same. I think it was the same sort of era when it was out, but obviously I think it is from the same modelers, so to speak.
I know it was a herb.
But
Was the owl called Time?
Might have been, yeah. I mean, even the designs.
I asked before when we talked about this, and someone told me, but I forgot.
Is that one called Rosemary? Basil?
It might have been Basil.
Basil.
No, I think Basil was the man, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It's very
I think so.
I've seen this.
Gosh.
Was there a third animal?
There was a dog who was, I think, Dill. I think it was Dill.
Dill, yeah.
Dog.
Dill.
So I only remember the lion and the owl and the man, but yeah, the PlayStation adverts had some weird adverts for sure. There's too many of those to go into, I think.
I think there's a couple of music videos I could think of that are quite creepy as well.
What, the Robbie Williams one, not Robin Williams?
I don't know, but there was one where of a guy where he yelled so much, and it is actually part of the song, to a point where you saw like him like breathing out that much that it was like all of his body was just getting thinner and thinner.
I remember being
and his
in
head was
school.
getting bigger.
I remember being in school when that Robbie Williams song came out, Rock DJ, and everyone's like, "Have you seen the uncensored one?"
Oh yeah, where he takes the skin off.
Because he's anyone's not seen it. He takes his clothes off, but in the uncensored one, he then takes his skin off. And it's...
Yeah, sorry, off tangent then.
Mr.
But we're mainly
Meaty.
talking about today about.
I don't know what Mr. Meaty
Meaty.
is. Please explain that. I reckon this sounds familiar, but
I'm very concerned by the name Mr. Meaty.
Isn't that like beef jerky?
Is that the Nickelodeon thing where they worked in the meat place? Because if it is, I know what it is, but it might not be. It might have had a similar name. Are You Afraid of the Dark? I love Are You Afraid of the Dark. I've not watched the new one on Paramount Plus, but we've got the old box set.
I still get like chills from the music at the beginning.
I preferred it to Goosebumps. I think it was aimed at the same kind of people. And this and Goosebumps were both made in Canada, which is a weird thing, but...
Always put yes.
Yes, I know what Mr. Meaty is. It was about two guys who worked in a fast food place, but then it's one of those things where, like Ren and Stimpy, you wouldn't get away with showing it in the afternoon now, I don't think, but they did back then.
I'll have to Google it so I can.
But did you ever watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, James?
No, I don't think. I mean, I've heard of it definitely, but yeah, I don't think I've actually ever watched any of it. So
I suggest we have to do.
You've watched Goosebumps, haven't you?
No.
No.
I know.
Do you know the premise of Are You Afraid of the Dark or not? It was just basically a different story every. Although they started it, the difference between that and Goosebumps was they started with the Midnight Society, which was a group of kids, and someone had to tell a story. So it was a bit at the start and the end.
Oh yeah, I know.
But yeah, this was one of the scariest voted episodes. It was where there was this monster in the swimming pool, and the kid was scared of it, and then I can't remember the backstory for it.
I can see why.
But I did prefer it to Goosebumps. Goosebumps is a similar thing, but it was very much like Tales of the Unexpected for kids. There's always a twist at the end of the story, and that's what you were waiting for most of the time. Yeah, I've just remembered that zombie guy from Mr. Meaty.
So Mr. Meat is I don't know if you can see it very well.
Hold on.
Focuses.
There's my face in the
big vision. When it focuses.
Oh yeah. I recognise it.
But it was a kid show.
There you go, guys.
I recognise one of the kids at the bottom, I think.
Yeah, the one with the hair across his face.
Yeah.
I remember too.
Don't.
And there was Goosebumps, but I'm surprised you've not watched Goosebumps.
No, I'm so uncultured.
I think you'll have to come round and we'll have to do
box set of that
Are
as
You
well.
Afraid of the Darkathon?
I actually read a Goosebumps book the other day because we bought a load from the works when they were on offer, like an actual pack of books, whatever. And I read one the other day, and at the end there was a twist, And I kind of just chuckled to myself, and oh yeah, that's decent.
Oh, sorry, Rachel, if we scared you. But no, potato heads. Yeah, they do look a bit like potato heads, actually.
Goosebumps. Is there anyone in the chat quickly? Have you watched Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of Dark? Do you have a favorite episode?
I do remember there was like a UK sort of version. I can't remember what the name of it was now, but I remember
Freaked Out.
it might have been. I'll try and look it up
That
quickly.
guy with the mask.
No, it wasn't that. It was like the intro was like in a film theater. It was like stop motion again.
Oh, Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
And it
one
was-
that I watched as a kid. Yeah,
It was
That's
eerie
the
because the
best.
actual stories were in really basic 2D animation as well. Weren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, they were. But I remember a lot of people when we did the original episode on Scare Seekers, there were a few people who mentioned about the design of like the film. The guy who worked at the cinema in that. The kind of design of him was very creepy. So yeah, but that was one that I watched because I remember it was on like CITV, I think.
In
When I was a
fact,
kid. So.
does anyone remember Trapdoor?
Trapdoor, yeah.
I love Trapdoor.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny.
And then everyone's like, "Oh no, it was so weird and random." Like, well, that's the point of it. It's weird. and
Pulse was
random.
brought up. The writer was from Ohio for Goosebumps, R.L. Stein.
Ooh.
I think he means R.L. Stein, unless he means... Yeah, he must mean the books, not the
The
TV
writer
show.
of Goose was from Ohio. I did not know
But
that.
there are a couple of episodes that are worth mentioning about Goosebumps quickly. There was the two-parter from Horrorland, where they went to that horror theme park.
Mhm.
I'm not going to ruin the twist. And there's one with Ryan Gosling from the Barbie film. Say Cheese and Die, and he gets a camera, and when he takes a photo, he'll take a photo of his dad's car, and then in the photo it's banged up, and then in the future his dad crashes the car.
Oh wow!
And like he takes a
It
photo
tells
of his
the future.
friend, and she's not in the photo. Then she goes missing, but then he rips up the photo, and she comes back, but she doesn't know where she's been. And it's quite a good one, but it's also funny because it's Ryan Gosling in it.
Oh.
Sounds terrifying enough with Ryan
We'll have-
Gosling.
We'll have to
Jesus.
watch some spooky things around at ours.
The young
Mm.
ones, the young ones was a comedy, wasn't it?
The young ones.
Unless that's a different show, but it can be seen as scary, I guess. It's the same show I'm thinking of, isn't it? With
The piercings on it, the stars.
yeah,
on
the
his
guys out
forehead,
bottom were in it. Yeah, that's
I
what
know
British
which one
people
you're
like.
about. Yeah.
Demon Headmaster. We are going to talk about Demon Headmaster.
Mm.
Terrorhawks. I think Andy from Coast of the Joneses remember that.
Excuse me, sorry.
But this specific, this is actually, from what I remember, she's actually an android and she's called Zelda, and she was scary. But the puppets were scary in it. It's a Jerry Anderson thing, but also they were funny. There was a lot of comedy in it. Like I remember one of them was called Captain Dan Druff and things like that. But the villains were quite scary. Zelda was just quite scary. Oh yeah. If you can get a VPN, Discover Explorers, I'd recommend going on. Well, I wouldn't recommend in case they're watching, but there's a possibility. If you have a VPN, you can go on iPlayer and watch a lot of British stuff. That's what I'm going to say.
Quality.
It must be really cool being American because we get all the American stuff here. They don't get all our stuff, but it's almost like watching a foreign culture, but it's in your own language.
Oh, Andy's just put, I love Zelda, but not that one. ...
Yeah, I think it means a video game. But I just put that in case anyone remembers Terrorhawks, but it always goes on Amazon Prime for free for like 2 weeks, and then they put it back up to have to pay for it, and it's annoying. Demon Headmaster. This was a big one when I was a kid. Everyone talked about this. I don't know.
The weirdest thing is we had a teacher at my primary school that looked exactly like him. So whenever he just stared at us, we were like, we're just like, sit straight, don't move, he can't see you, sort of thing. And
Did you ever watch any of the Demon Headmaster,
the weirdest thing.
James? Because I think it would have been after your time.
No, I didn't watch any of it, but for the Scare Seekers episode that we did, we basically got like a load of clips and reacted to them, and we reacted to the intro to it, and it was basically like they like overused the liquefy tool on like a load of kids' faces to just like really melded them and messed them up, and but yeah, I think just from seeing like pictures of him and stuff, like you can just tell that he's really a menacing character already, like, but without even seeing his performance.
They did do a remake series, but I don't think it's anywhere near as good. But I just thought the idea at the time was so simple because kids don't like the headmaster normally, and then to have the headmaster actually be the bad guy when you're meant to go to them for like care. What do you think?
All I can say is he was a good influence for teachers that wanted to like a silent way to tell children to stop misbehaving, because he'd literally be stood like that and he'd be like, slowly take his glasses off, not say anything and just stare. And I think that works. That works in a classroom. That's all I'm going to say. But obviously, the stories were.
It almost seems like the kind of thing.
Whoa, he's off again. What's he going to do this time?
Almost seems like the kind of thing, and I don't know if someone's going to tell me it has happened. I don't watch a lot of Doctor Who, but it seems like the kind of thing that could happen in a Doctor Who episode. Then they went, let's make a series about it.
I always wondered, actually, at this point, because my brother was watching the Doctor Who episodes, and I always wondered at one point, would the Demon Headmaster ever do a crossover?
Oh, that would have been cool.
Because there was various episodes, I can't remember which one it was now, but I know it's Sylvester McCoy, where it's to do with the school. And I thought at one point, Demon Headmaster might be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think that's where in my head, as a youngster, I thought, it might be across, they might join the episodes together, but they didn't.
It was a different time where BBC had good children's shows.
Probably.
But yeah.
They did try and remake it, to be fair, but I don't think it has the same effect now.
No. It's really funny as well, because people mention the Demon Headmaster, and then someone else has mentioned the Queen's Nose.
Queen's Nose, yeah.
It's always on at the same time on different channels.
No, I thought they were both BBC.
I thought they were different channels,
No,
weren't
both
they?
BBC One, yeah.
I thought the Queen's Nose was like, or is it Bernard's Watch? I'm thinking.
Bernard's Watch.
Maybe that's what
Queen's Nose is the one with the 50p piece, wasn't it? You remember
yeah.
I don't know much about it. I know of it, but I didn't really watch Queen's Nose.
No, I did a little bit.
The Riddlers. This didn't scare me as a kid. This came up. I thought the Riddlers were actually a couple of cool cats.
Okay, who thought the Riddlers were creepy?
No, I looked online, but I can understand why. Look at those faces.
I thought being funny, I actually bought some little pixies, like ornaments, and they both look exactly like them. So don't have it anymore, sadly, but little woodland pixies, and I just think they're quite cute.
Have you ever seen any clips of the Riddlers, James?
No, I haven't. But just from looking at this, I don't think they look the most creepy. But I think the issue is that they have too many like realistic details in a way.
Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, like there's too much detail for them to be like these kids puppets. And again, kind of like the graininess of the photo as well gives it that kind of 1970s creepy vibe to it as well.
I don't want to put it over too much.
It was in the 90s, actually.
That was it 90s.
Yeah,
in case people expect more, I don't want to put it over too much, but I actually like the theme tune to the Riddlers. I thought it was a good song. It's a good song. That was actually an SCI TV retrospective. We had the theme tune. This came up. This didn't scare me either, but this came up quite a lot when I searched on the internet this week for children's shows that scared kids. But Art Attack, did he have a name or was it just the bust?
The head. The bust. No, it was the bust. I think you're right on that one.
Did you ever watch Art Attack and specifically this character, James?
Yeah, I did. I can see exactly why people would find it creepy. Again, I think it's in the eyes. I think it's like less with the pupils on this one, more just the fact that he's like, it's almost like the eyes look too realistic in a way, and they're like piercingly like.
He had a lot of movement as well. From what I remember, his head was always waving.
Yeah,
hard to the sides.
Yeah,
90-degree angles.
Yeah, but that was just it was always like a very kind of uncanny thing again, like kind of going into that uncanny valley with it, like again looking a bit too realistic for a cartoony character in a way. But
just to let Park Pulse Undiscovered Explorers know, this was I don't know if you had a similar show in the States. The Art Attack was a show where someone would show you how to make something at home. They do loads of artsy stuff, and then sometimes it would cut away to this bust, just kind of explaining how to do something, but it was over exaggerated, even though he's only got a neck and head.
It's like that Here's One I Made Earlier segment on Blue Peter, but they just extended it out to an entire show.
Yeah, that was the whole show. Yeah, I think that's where they got the idea from, probably. Did anyone see Five Children in It? I've seen it like once or twice as a kid. I vaguely remember it, but I don't remember the story.
I saw the remake with the the CGI. Yeah. There's like a remake with like a CGI version of it. I think it's Eddie Izzard who voices him in that. Might be. But I've never seen the original version of it.
I'll have to look that up. What was the story vaguely? Because I can't remember where he came from or anything.
Well, it's where 5 children find this character called It
on the beach.
That's all. Yeah, and I think it's like he lives on the beach or something. Maybe. Yeah, And they like go from a house to this beach, and they find him there, and I think it's like he can grant them wishes or something. I can't
Oh,
remember. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
somewhere in my memory, I probably have watched it and thought this is normal. Like every day you find something on a page and it gives you wishes. Maybe I'm
Sammy had
looking at
the
the puppet
Sand Fairy.
thinking I think I
Yeah.
know it, but
Guess
I'm
what the
not
Joneses
sure.
know? There's a series as well, apparently. And Travel with the Joneses know as well.
I just imagine it. There was like 5 children and Pennywise is in that version of it. That'd have been
what
funny.
I thought. I was like, it isn't
Yeah.
Pennywise.
It was a prequel to the It film where Pennywise wasn't evil yet.
I think I do remember it, but it's very vague.
It was like the Railway Children or the Secret Garden, but there was a nice, fun monster in it as well. It was very similar feel to those two. Wurzel Gummidge, not the newer one. The newer one isn't.
John
It's scary.
Pertwee.
Yeah.
He's funnily enough, he's holding a head in that photo, but there is an episode where he gets his head punched off by another scarecrow.
Yeah.
And even though it's special effects, if you're a kid and you're not expecting that,
You not noticed the clown one to the left? There's a clown one, isn't
yeah,
there?
but that's
That
not that creepy, I don't think.
picture? Some people are scared of clowns.
But this was, if you live in America, this was a really kind of, was it low budget for the time as well? I would say it is. It was just about a scarecrow, wasn't it, that came to life and talked to a couple of kids
Words aloud, words aloud.
in the middle of the countryside.
And it's actually a book as well. 'Cause
Was
I've
it a book
actually
first?
Yeah, I think it was a book first before it came out as like a series. Because I've got a really old book that says Wurzel Gummidge on it, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Mackenzie Crook's in the remake, but the remake's all right.
John
It just
Pertwee, the third Doctor in Doctor Who.
the remake is kind of feature-length episodes, and they kind of, if you watch it, you'll see what I mean. They kind of have in each kind of episode they did, there's kind of this like something happens and there's a mild case of like what you call peril, and it's like, how are we going to get out of this? And then like a scene later, they just fix it. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, cheers. Considering it's like a 45-minute runtime for those episodes, the new ones.
They don't leave you hanging like a scarecrow.
But ching.
Because in one of them, they really, in the new one with Mackenzie Crook, they kind of teased that he broke the rules of a scarecrow by talking to the kids, and he spoke to the, was it the Man of Green or something? Some guy who made the scarecrows or something.
The Man of Green.
Something, I can't remember what it was.
Something else. Like,
I can't remember what it was.
What's going on with
But
this
he was
show?
played by Michael Palin, and it makes you feel like, oh, he's going to have to say goodbye to the kids, and maybe not. It's going to be heartfelt. And he just goes, "Do you know what? You did the right thing, all right." Just sit in the field and say that, effectively say that, and it's just like, all right.
Have you got any more pictures?
Yes.
Oh.
I think
Yeah.
James can explain this one because I don't know much.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that I had to include something Doctor Who because I'm a massive Doctor Who fan. So this is a very obscure character. I think it's from the 6th Doctor's era, from a story called Time Lash, and the character's called the Borad. I think I've only watched the episode like once or twice because it's not a very good episode. But I remember this character being specifically like very creepy again, simply because like he was in the dark in a lot of scenes, and it was basically like it was like half of it was like the human face, but half of it was this lizard where it was like they put a prosthetic on where it moved almost like a puppet mouth in a way. Which just made it really creepy for me. And consider I've watched a lot of Doctor Who and don't really find too much of it that creepy, this is the one that made me really kind of unnerved.
Did it kind of like dribble as well? I can't.
Might
It's been
have,
a while
yeah.
since I've seen it, but I'm
Yeah.
sure it dribbled at one point, and I was like, ugh. And he looked like he was in pain. He's there with his hand going, ugh. And I thought, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
Mine would be like sea devils from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
it's more the fact that they've got fish heads and human bodies.
Yeah.
This reminds me of John. Is it John Merrick, the Elephant Man?
Oh yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Also, I get John Merrick and John McCurrick mixed up. That sounds very funny until you get them mixed up.
Yeah.
My brother used to make a joke about. My brother used to make a bit of a laugh about this, so I wouldn't be too scared of the character that James is on about.
Mhm.
And said that it's a guy that's crashed with a seal.
Yeah,
So I was like,
kind of.
okay.
Yeah.
Because this Crafton Moore says 5 Children Nick kind of had a second show, but the Sammy Ed was replaced with a magic carpet and a phoenix.
Oh,
Maybe that's what you watched.
Maybe. It's been so long. There's certain things that I think I haven't seen them in ages. Maybe we could like.
This is what scared Gareth. He watched the rebirth of Doctor, and he said he liked fish fingers and custard and that.
I've actually tried it, and it actually wasn't too bad.
There's not much flavour to
But
a
have
fish
you
fingers.
tried
Really.
carrot juice?
No, not tried. That's another. That's a classic reference. There we go.
Just have to. Trial of a Time Lord at the end. That's
I've
what
talked
it
about.
says.
Do you want to say anything more about Return to Us? You said the thing about the heads in the.
I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me on this because we had it ages ago. But Wheelers, Wheelers, there's something, the proportion and everything. And then I think they had like a bit of music that went on in the background as well on the film, if I remember. And you get that sense of like your heart fluttering and dread because you know they're coming to get you, and you're like, you know what I mean? I can't explain it.
I thought they were creepy as a kid, but now, as an adult, I just think you just knock them off the wheels. Like, if she really wanted to, she could give them more grief than they're giving now. But
just put a stick out, and
But Return to Us, that you were mentioning the scene with all the heads that witch collects
the heads,
in a room, and they're all the way down the room. But doesn't she take her head off to swap it at one point, and then she's walking around without one?
Yes. And then there's a bit where Dorothy gets noticed by them, and she just lets out this horrifying scream. The head's like a horrifying scream, and that was another bit that creeped me out as well. But the older I've seen them now, I'm absolutely fine. It's only when I was a kid I was a bit like, I've not seen this before. This is weird. I don't like it.
Film. I think it's like if the first one was better. Allowed to be less kid friendly, but it is on Disney Plus if anyone wants to watch it.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Kaz. It's Crafton more. It is darker. Maybe it was meant to go with the older generation, but obviously I was quite young when I watched it, so I don't know
if I asked James if you watched Return to Us.
The only bit of it that I watched was on Scare Seekers when we watched the clip of the head scene. Yeah, the rest of it. I think I might have watched bits and pieces of it, but I still need to. There is a lot of stuff I need to watch.
If you have to let us know what the list is, and then we'll got some stuff, and then we'll have to like meet up and have opinions about it.
Yeah.
If you can consider it scary for kids, just the characters she goes along with, because you've got that kind of jack-o'-lantern guy, pumpkin head, but they got that kind of is it a chaise long with a moose head on the end, and they fly on the back of it? It was like a seat, wasn't it? But it had a moose's head.
Yes.
On one side.
Yes, they strapped the moose's head onto the sofa, technically. Yeah, but it was fun.
The Witches, the original one. I've not seen the new one.
Yeah.
The original Witches, the Roald Dahl The Witches. This did creep me out as a kid. The bald, it's weird because a lot of people say the baldness freaked them out, and I'm like, that doesn't bother me. It was more, you got this tiny petite face of a woman, and then she takes everything off, and there's this long grotesque nose, and then the fingers come out, and they really emphasized the fingers as they were coming out as well, and they stretched out those scenes in the transformation, and that creeped me out. I don't know if anyone else is the same, but as a kid I found gremlins. You mean gremlins?
It means gremlins. Are there all a character called Gremlins? I wasn't sure if that was a character. I don't know. It probably is Gremlins. James, have you seen The Witches? Either one?
I think I've seen both of them. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen the original one, and I think the design of this definitely terrifying. But another thing that came to mind was some of the characters turn into mice at one point, and in the original one, they actually have like a costume of one of them as a mouse, and it's kind of a bit uncanny because they have the mouse actually talking in like this big kind of SFX mouse costume, which is a little bit uncanny as well. But
this is when they look their wigs off. When they took their wigs off, real freaked me out. Children go as mice. It's quite interesting how a lot of people
VHS at his grandma's house, then watch David Attenborough. What a mix. What David Attenborough film was it?
Children go as mice, It's interesting how many people get creeped out.
Skeksis.
Yeah.
See, I was saying before the show to James and to you as well, I didn't want to make up that I was scared of stuff just to put content for the show, but as a kid there wasn't many things that scared me on TV. But the Skeksis freaked me out, but in a way where, although they freaked me out, I wanted to watch the film again because I was like, it intrigued me because it freaked me out.
But But I love, for me, it's Jim Henson again. I love the puppetry. I love the way that they moved, and it's just, I loved it. I love it.
What do you
It's
think
one
of
my
Dark
favourite
Crystal,
films.
James? Because I can imagine it's probably a film that you're quite into, I would have thought.
Yeah. I mean, I think I actually prefer it a little bit more to Labyrinth as well, just because the story's a little bit more, almost like it takes itself a little bit more seriously. But yeah, definitely the Skeksis is quite terrifying. But I remember there was one scene where I think it's the other race, like the Poglins or something, like the kind of the small little people that they use as
Yeah,
slaves in it.
Podlings.
Yeah, and there's the one scene where they're like kind of hypnotizing one of the Poglins, and they
Yeah.
strap it into the chair
Yeah,
and almost like
that's it.
suck the essence out. That was the scene that always terrified me in that film.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's,
Have you seen the series?
It's the way the light goes in the eyes, isn't
I
it?
think I watched like the first couple of episodes of the series, and it did, and it was pretty good. But yeah, I probably just didn't get around to finishing it. But yeah, it was like it kept kind of the same style of the original film, but with modern technology, obviously, to film it and stuff. But yeah, still kept all the same puppetry, which was great, and the same sort of vibes to it in a way. So yeah, definitely
Bloom
recommend.
Cheese is here. Rich is here.
Hey, Bloomin' Cheeser.
It's not a horror movie, but Ready Player One. Because at one point they made fun of The Shining in the Ring.
I've not actually seen that
I've not
one.
seen Ready Player One. I think
No.
we've
I
got
have
it.
not.
But we need to
It's got a lot of
arrange film
references in it.
nights, I think.
Mm.
Well, the problem is I see a film on demand and it ruins it for me, I guess, because I see how long the film is. And then I think, do I want to sit there for this long? And that puts me off rather.
No, I don't
But if I
mind.
didn't know how long the film was, I could probably watch
it's
it.
more the mystery of the story itself, and I'm like, I actually want to just.
Our
sit and
Boglins,
watch it.
yeah.
Mm.
Boglins. Oh my gosh, Boglins. Used to have Boglins as a kid.
Oh, never ending story. The wolf. Is that
Oh yeah.
is that Falcor or is that an actual wolf?
The wolf scary never story. Falcor. It's like a big giant Chinese dragon. That's what
No,
they
no.
based it on.
I don't know if Kaz is talking about Falcor or whether there was a wolf in it as well.
Yeah. There's a wolf right at the end of it, which
There
is real.
was.
Yeah, which is quite scary. Yeah, and tries to attack the main character. But I think it's like the scene's all like filled with fog and stuff, and you just like see his glowing eyes come out, and then yeah, it's this again kind of like a very uncanny wolf puppet that they use. So it's like again, it's a bit in that uncanny valley of whether it's real or not.
I didn't actually get any.
It's been a long time since I'd watched Never Ending Story. I might have to rewatch that one again, I think.
I didn't actually get any photos of Tales the Unexpected, but I want Tales the Unexpected is like an adult version of Goosebumps that came out in like the 80s or whatever. For anyone who you don't like it because it's there's some quite episodes that quite realistic, but one episode I want to tell everyone about that I thought was really cool, and it didn't scare me because I didn't watch it as a kid. But since we're talking about weird things. like weird shows and stuff. Tales the Unexpected. I think Andy from Coast of the Joneses has seen Tales the Unexpected. I don't know if you've seen this episode. There was an episode where I think it was I'm sure it was a woman's prison, wasn't it? And the woman wants to escape, and there's a jailkeeper there, and he says when someone dies in the prison, they ring a bell. When they're in the bell next time, go to where the coffins are, get in the coffin. When they bury you, I'll come later and dig you up. And the bell rings, and she runs there and gets the coffin, and then take her away and everything in the coffin, and then getting buried, and then she's like,
I'm not feeling good about this.
and then she's thinking this has taken a while. I'm going to, I think she had matches or something, and she's like, I just want to see what body I'm lying on in this coffin, and it was only the guy who said he was going to dig her up later on. So it ends, and she's stuck. She's buried alive. That was a good one, I thought, but no one seems interested. But a lot of episodes, like you didn't like the one where the one that freaked you out.
It was
there was a man on a bus following a little girl.
Yeah.
And it was a bit creepy. And then she finally got off the bus, like in the middle of the countryside on a random bus stop.
Yeah.
And he got off as well, so she ran to the nearest house.
Yeah.
There's a lovely woman inside.
Got taken.
And then she went in for shelter. The guy walks in. It's only the woman's husband. So she's stuck with these two child, and it's just really.
Yeah.
Some of the episodes aren't that dark. I mean, they're not that dark.
No, but it's still a bit like.
It's an interesting show. I've got the box set, but.
Yeah.
You sure you weren't watching a crime documentary or?
It's by Roald Dahl. I don't know if we wrote books before the show, but it's a Roald Dahl thing.
It just didn't settle well with me.
But the majority, I think, all of them are realistic. There's no like special superpowers in them or anything.
No.
And some of the other ones are kind of like funnier ones. We just walked in.
And then you're at the end going, well, that was unexpected.
Well, yeah, there's one where these people are debt collectors, and they keep embarrassing people by going, he owed us money because he
Sounds
had erotic
like-
material. And then the twist at the end was they tried to rip off this family, and they go, he couldn't have bought that from you. He's blind. And they got found out. That's another one. I'm digressing into Tales. We'll do a whole episode of Tales of the Unexpected.
Yeah.
If we actually
time.
have a chance to watch any. So
I've
yeah.
watched them, yeah.
If anyone wants us to do an episode, let us know. But it says on here, it sounds like Black Mirror for Depart Pulse.
Yeah, it probably was like an old version of Black Mirror. I've not watched much of Black Mirror, but yeah.
Excuse me, sorry.
You can probably find most of Tales of the Unexpected on YouTube, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know where else you'd find it.
Danny Champion of the World was on VHS after Meerkats. Have you watched Knock on the Cabin?
Doesn't
No, I
sound...
don't think so.
No, I've not seen that one. No, man, look, if I see an image, shall I Google it and have a
Can
look?
do, yeah. What I would
Knock
do
on the
is
Cabin.
we could keep talking about scary stuff, but I've got a bit of a quiz. But I don't know. Are there any shows we've not mentioned yet, James, that you think deserve a mention?
Not off the top of my
Or
head. I think
films?
that's, we can mention Gabriel again if you want, but no.
Is that always
Yeah.
going to be number one for you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because I did a watch through of it a
It's
little
a
while
film.
back, and yeah, it still really affects me massively.
Can you
But,
buy the puppet?
I think that there was a toy that you could buy which didn't really look anything like him. It looked too cute. For it, but it had like a thing where you press the stomach on it and it had a sound effect of him singing, which is a bit creepy. But I think there was a resin that that a company made, which had like a little music box below it, which looked more like him. But I think that's the only thing that I could think of you could get.
Oh, I know what Knock on the Cabin is. Just to reply to them,
See, I didn't know.
it's
Sorry,
got Dave
I'll have to
Bautista
Google it, but
and,
I
as
thought
they
it
put
was-
it, the lad out of Harry Potter, the ginger one. It's got
Which ginger one? There's a whole
Rupert.
family of them.
basically that's if no one knows it, Knock at the Cabin is the famous M. Night Shyamalan film where there's no twist at the end, and that's the twist, because every one of his films has a twist at the end, and the twist is that there's no twist.
That's the scariest bit.
Because you keep watching the film and you think, how are they going to explain this? And then it's just like, oh, it just all goes away. There's nothing there. I mean, it's an alright film if you want to watch it. It's fairly recent.
Sounds
but
fun.
It's not great.
Let's have a look what we've got here then. And
I went for an emoji quiz this week.
Goodness, holiness, spookiness. Oh,
Hang on, I'm going to set up the overlays so it looks brilliant.
are this based on TV programs?
It's
or
kind of like
films
it was
or
kind of like
anything
horror, TV, and film, and I kind of
Mhm.
just went. So I don't know if James wants to go for this.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm assuming Scream.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
It's to do with Freddy,
Um,
and it's got the number in it.
yeah.
Five.
Friday the 13th. Yeah.
No,
No.
it's a
that'd be
film you've seen
Jason.
recently.
Oh, Fright Nights at
Five
Freddy's.
Nights at
Five
Freddy's.
Nights at Freddy's,
Yes.
There we go.
Get this one.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Have you seen that film?
Yeah. I saw it once. Yeah, I think it's a pretty. It was more. It was a lot more gory than I expected, actually, which is really good. But yeah, it's definitely a really good B movie.
Goes do with the Joneses. Oh,
Ghost Watch? No. Ghost Cuffs.
What do they call it when you get
Oh.
arrested?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
I just clicked. I was like, you got busted. Oh.
I See You? That's not a thing, is it?
You're close though. How would you say it? If in the past tense.
I Saw You?
Yes. Just take away the other bits of the sentence.
Just one word,
It's one word.
I
I think.
So
Sort of.
I just
I'm good at
clicked
this.
after I did it. I was like, ooh.
I picked the one word that it wasn't.
Cheese and ketchup.
Bagpuss.
yeah.
Oh, right. It was actually Bagpuss. Okay. Dark Crystal.
Yeah. I literally just put the Dark Crystal in.
Yeah. Scarehawk.
Close. I don't know if someone in the chat will get it.
Oh, the Terror.
Tony Hawk.
Terror
Oh,
Hawks.
Terror
Hawk.
Hawks.
Something like
Tony
that,
Hawk.
Terror something.
Blood Hearts? No.
Close. Terror Hawks. Did either of the Joneses watch Terror Hawks as a kid? Because you're sort of that age bracket. You're close. There was a scare maze based on it.
My Bloody Valentine?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Trapdoor?
No, that would be a good guess.
Uh,
I didn't know how to put this one in emojis, to be fair.
Door.
It's something we've talked about.
Close.
Labyrinth?
What's the first place?
In the dark?
It's mainly not. Yeah, it's mainly to do with what's there.
Are you afraid of the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to it eventually.
Okay.
Yeah. You actually got most of it there, James.
Just
That's
increasing the
right.
runtime.
Oh,
Labyrinth.
You got that one?
Labyrinth?
Yeah. Do you know the difference between a labyrinth and a maze?
One has an L at the start of it.
No, apparently a maze only has one route. It doesn't have dead ends. Labyrinth does. So scare mazes are correct because they only have one route.
So a scare labyrinth would be like a open maze. Demon Headmaster.
Yeah.
Got that one.
Can't really see that.
Is that an ear and
that's
then
an ear,
someone
yeah.
holding something?
Erie, Indiana.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
This could be one of two things that are very similar in name.
Fairy Tale Hall or Fairy Tale Library? No, won't be one of them.
It's something from. You kind of got near the first bit. It's something from a graveyard. The second.
Two.
Like a tomb, yeah.
Fairy Tale Mausoleum? No.
You're getting close.
Fairy Tale Crypts? Or Tales from the Crypt?
There's Tales from the Crypt Keeper and there's Tales from the Crypt.
That was good.
Tales from the Crypt Keeper was a 2D animation, but there is Tales from the Crypt as well.
Yeah.
That was a good one, that one.
Goosebumps. Tales to Tell in the Dark.
I don't know if you'll get this one. It's a program we've watched that we've not brought up tonight that had very scary imagery in it.
I'm trying to remember and I can't.
What is it? What is in a book?
Pages.
Like it's a
story.
Yeah. What's
Storyteller?
Storyteller. Yeah.
Oh right.
Do you remember that scary one with the guy who was turned into a hedgehog?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that show.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that did
That's
freak me out as a kid.
Yeah.
That did freak me out as a kid.
Storyteller.
And that's where Sonic the Hedgehog was born.
No way.
Last one.
If that's how he was born, I don't want to witness that.
Never Ending Story?
No, good guess.
Around the... Have you ever...
I don't know if you know something.
Let this strange things happen. Are you going round
the bend?
Round the
close enough. Close enough.
Round the twist.
Have you ever
Yeah, Jim Henson was the king of scary things, I think.
Are you going round the twist? Have you heard?
You're just going to sing the whole thing now, aren't you?
Might get copyright struck at this point.
Yeah. We've got the DVD box set of all the series, and on series 1, only series 1, it has. If you need to look at the words, it's got karaoke come up on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, put it this way: me and Theme Park James was singing our hearts out when we first watched that with the karaoke.
Joneses are going. We'll see the Joneses at the weekend.
Yay!
For some more Wickerman action.
Bye, Joneses.
Is there anything you want to add?
I just want to say a huge thank you to James for coming along as well to the show. It's been absolutely amazing. And also thank you to everyone in the comments that's joined us. And also I have the photo challenge for November, and it is light. I've already got one from some of you, so I shared it on my stories. So if you've got anything theming to do with light, take a photo of it and then tag us at Love to Explore. number 2, WO
Love to
Explore.
explore.
I know I said love to Woe Explore.
No, someone else said that. And I thought it was funny.
And then obviously for me as well, you can tag me in at Stacey_L2E. And then hopefully I'll be able to show you on the stories and then keep it in my highlights as well for like the photograph challenge.
No, we're not doing the 5K run, but we're going on Saturday as the 10K and the kids one, and we got spectator tickets because you're allowed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be interesting. This is the 3rd year they've done Run Alton Towers, and each year more enthusiasts know about it and know that you can just buy a spectator ticket, go in, and after the marathon's done, go on rides all day, and there's not many queues. And it is literally everything's open as normal. You'd think it was a normal day at Alton Towers. You wouldn't guess that. Oh, it's the week after the season ended.
Yeah.
The only thing.
Well, if it's
Well,
I was just thinking if it's a normal day at Alton Towers, then everything's probably not going to be open.
Well, I remember last year they had to.
Later, but...
Everyone was asking, and I think they only did it because they knew how annoyed people who didn't go would be. They were like, "Yeah, Nemesis won't be open." Because last year closed. I thought that would really. Because I'm intrigued to see if any of the retro squad's still there.
But we also,
they said that's the last chance you can ride it last week.
But we also this time last year did a challenge between the Trekking Tailor and us, well, the Trekking Tailors back then, and we had to see how many rides we could get in as much as possible at the end of the day, different rides, and we did quite well actually. But obviously, you have to see that in one of our.
Oh, they don't use the whole car park, if I remember.
But
because we went last year. He's just saying. They do use the car park you have to get there at a certain time because they close it because the drive gets used for running as well. But we did a vlog about it, Gareth. Go watch it from last year. It's brilliant.
But am I ready for Christmas? I think I am already. I'd like to say yes, but I'm actually not.
Before I ask James about what he wants to plug, I just want to say I think next time, we haven't said what film yet, but we're all going to watch a horror film and talk about it. I don't know what film yet. I would do Five Nights at Freddy's, but I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to go to the cinema. But we can always watch a different film for now. We can always watch like Willy's Wonderland or.
That would be I've watched Willy's Wonderland. It's a very. I feel like it's probably one of the best. So good it's bad. So bad it's good films. Like it's just so enjoyable.
Maybe we could pick 2 and let people vote which one, and then we watch it and then review it after.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah.
All together, maybe.
Is there any stuff you want to plug, James? You had a Madame Tussauds video that got up, didn't you?
Yeah, I finally got a video uploaded. Yay! And I actually have another one, a quick vlog, which is in the edit at the moment. So could be out tomorrow or over the weekend, hopefully. But that one's nearly done. So, and it's with Ellie, the first time we did Subterra. So that's a fun one. Back from June.
Looking for. Did either of you do it before?
I think Ellie might have done the original one. It was the first time I'd done it myself. So yeah, first reactions.
But yeah, thank you everyone again for watching.
It's been good.
I haven't got anything else to say really. Do you know the outro, James?
I never know. I never want to disappoint you by knowing the outro.
So we'll see you
in the review.
Because for now,
we're gone.
Bye.